You actually, it's makes it.
Yeah, I am.
Microphones, please. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, be advised that a notice of this meeting was made by posting on the bulletin board, town hall, and mailing to the officially designated newspapers a list of the meeting dates annually, indicating that this meeting would take place at the town hall at 7 p.m. on Monday, November 6th, 2023.
Ashley Abigdor.
Here.
Chandra Rajani.
Here.
Amy Lawrence.
Here.
Gary Rosen.
Here.
Regina Truitt.
Here.
Joseph Colville.
Here.
Priscilla Surratt.
Here.
Vice Chair Jessica Glett.
Here.
Chair.
Here. First, we have approval minutes of 9/18/23. Any corrections or changes to those minutes?
There was just, I will read it. I made one addition. Page 398 was regarding the lighting. I added, Ms. Stewart felt that an 11 p.m. shut-off time was a better option and felt any approval should be conditioned on that. Applicant was agreeable to that condition. That's it.
Okay. Anything else from the board regarding corrections or changes to the minutes of 9/18? Then in that case, who's eligible?
I would say Ashley, Amy, Gary, Regina, Priscilla, Jessica, Craig.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adopt the minutes of 9/18?
Move approval?
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Next up, we have one memorialization this evening, calendar 39/38/23, 900 South Orange Avenue LLC at 900 South Orange Avenue in Short Hills. This is denial, I believe. Any corrections or changes to that memorialization? Who is eligible on it?
Ashley, Chandru, Amy, Gary, Regina, Jessica, Craig.
Okay, would one of those members like to make the motion?
I'll move approval, calendar number 3938-23.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Chandra.
Ashley Abigdor.
Yes.
Chandru Rajani.
Yes.
Amy Lawrence.
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yes.
Jessica Glett.
Yes.
Craig Clinton.
Yes. Okay, we're going to start with our first application of calendar 39/48/23, 91 Mountain View Road, Talking Botas, 91 Mountain View Road. If anyone here is looking for this application or have any comments or anything else wants to come down front, feel free. Otherwise, he's set up. But yeah, so we can go forward and see. So who will be speaking tonight? Everyone?
Do you want to just want to do an introduction? One of you can speak?
All right, then we're
Yeah, I'm Amy
just swear
Gotosh.
everybody in, so.
Well, everyone raise their right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give in tonight's proceeding be the truth, whole truth, and but the truth?
I do.
Your name for record, spelling your names.
Hakan Yotash, H-A-K-A-N. Last name G-O-G-T-A-S.
Amy, A-M-Y, Gotash, G-O-G-T-A-S.
Patrick Lesborough, Lesbirel.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amy Gotash. This is my husband, Hakan. We live and own 91 Mountain View Road in Milburn. We've been a part of this community for about 9 years now, living in this house. We have been very active in our community, and we love living in Milburn. We're part of the recreation department as coaches for the sports. We're part of the 4th of July committee, and we also volunteer for our PTOs for each one of our child's schools. We wish to renovate our home so we can make it more functional and to update it with its much needed improvements. Our house is outdated and only has one full bathroom. It lacks closet space and needs much repair to the kitchen to function properly for our family needs. Our renovations will allow us to continue living in this home for many years to come. We have plans for an addition on the back side of the home for the first and second floors. This will allow for additional bathrooms, modernize the kitchen, and improve the layout of the bedrooms, and of course, the closets. Today, we are seeking to gain the approval from the board for 2 variances and 1 existing variance in order for these renovations to start. So thank you. That's our opening statement.
Thanks.
Patrick Lesbro, the principal architect for the project, should be sworn in and qualified.
Yeah, go ahead with qualifications.
Qualifications. I hold a bachelor's degree in architecture from New Jersey Institute of Technology. I've been qualified and expert as an architect across the state of New Jersey. I hold my license in 7 states. My license is current and in good standing.
Thank you. Accept your qualifications. Please proceed.
So the house was originally constructed in 1926. The owners today are planning to do a 2-story rear addition to the home, as well as a 2nd-story addition on an existing 1-story portion of the home located to the right side of the home. We have 2 pre-existing variances, as well as 3 new variances, all tied to side yard setbacks. To briefly go through the pre-existing, minimum lot width is 60 feet. We can't achieve that because we are landlocked by 2 already constructed homes on each side of our property. So we are requesting a pre-existing variance relief in that aspect. We have a left side yard variance. The reason for this is we are increasing the height of the home, which according to your zoning ordinance requires us to have a larger setback due to that distance, which is when we go through the elevations, we can discuss how we actually architecturally put the slopes of the roof to diminish that variance requirement as we go up in elevation of the home. Additionally, in regards to the side yard setback on the right side of the home, we actually have an open corner of the adjacent lot as you make a turn around Mountain View. So there's no real impact on that open vacant land that we're already doing the addition of. Now referring to the drawing set, these are the same exhibit you guys already have, so there's no exhibits.
Mark them up, we will need to submit them as.
Understood.
If that's the case.
So as you can see, the existing home is an existing 3-bedroom home with a powder room on the basement, powder room on the 1st floor, and then a full bathroom on the 2nd floor. That no longer suits the needs of the client, as I'm sure you guys have seen after this. So the goals of the client is to make this now a 5-bedroom home and increase the master bedroom, master bathroom size, as well as finish the attic, all in compliance with the ordinance in regards to those elements. Now referring to drawing A02, the hatch, that dark hatch is the addition and renovation portion. Anything that is not hatched is the existing portion of the existing home. As you can see, the proposal is to propose a 16-foot rear addition by 26-foot rear addition, which will be the new kitchen and new dining area for the home. They're going to take the existing kitchen area and make that into a mudroom and powder room for the 1st floor. They're converting the existing sunroom into an office space. And then upstairs, again, the master bedroom addition is to the rear of the site. We have an addition, which is located to the right portion of the plan, which will be an addition to the existing bedroom to make it more usable for the client's needs. In addition to that, we've added a bathroom and bedroom on the attic portion of the project, which is in conformance with the requirements for code under 33% of the floor area, so it doesn't count as a 3rd story. It's a half story under the building code, so that's all in compliance. In regards to the elevations, we proposed a gambrel roof, which is existing with the existing style of the home. As you can see, looking at the front elevation, we have a small addition to the upper right corner, which is the addition over the existing sunroom. That portion is located here. Then if we look at the right side elevation, we can see the addition going off the rear. We've hatched with a dark line what portions are existing and what portions are proposed in terms of the actual renovation. And as you can see, in regards to the side yard setback, as you get up to about 18 feet, the building actually slopes in that direction. So we are asking for that variance relief, but we've made efforts in terms of the roof design to diminish that setback, to allow light to the neighboring property.
How much of the home cuts into it? You made effort, but how much of the home actually cuts into that 18-foot?
On the left side, about 3 feet. On the right side, about 5 feet.
Okay.
And again, both of those are existing setbacks, like they're existing to the existing home. It was built in 1926. And at that point, I would just open questions to the board.
So, now as for the positive and negative criteria, you kind of haven't hit that. So explain to us how it, in terms of positive and negative criteria, because, I mean, we're going for a C2 variance or C1?
Correct, these are C variances. These aren't planning variances. They're not C2s or C3s.
I understand that, but you still have to cross the threshold of, what about the elements of the neighbors? How much because you're asking.
Again, I think I touched on in the original testimony. Neighboring to our right with the setback, we have an open vacant lot. So
And like how far would you say the neighbor is?
on the right side of the property, the neighbor is not even remotely close because if you look at the site plan, as you turn around Mountain View, it's a triangle shaped lot. So this corner right here, the home is set back to this portion. So there's absolutely no structure built in this section. So access to light and air is still available. In terms of the house on the left, we still have access to light and air because we don't have any structure built in that area. And that's the overall positive negative criteria. We're not having any negative impact in terms of the light and air access to the adjacent structure.
Driveway's on the left of the house, correct?
Correct, it's already existing.
Okay. And then how's their driveway situated? Right next to it or
Their driveway's on the opposite side of their house.
trying to keep up the record here? So I'm just-
Gotcha, understood. So yeah, the driveway is to the very far left of the house.
Okay.
I just don't want to get into planning criteria. I'm not a licensed planner.
So.
Because even looking at the survey, from where our addition is to the existing structure, we have to be 20 feet past that existing structure with our addition. So we're not even remotely going to block any windows or light and air access to that structure.
Anyone have any questions on the board?
Just a little bit of clarification, if I could. So this addition on the right side of the house, my concern is a little bit of the massing of it because it's going to be much more square than it is now. It's a little nice little curve out, cut out currently, and a beautiful neighborhood, by the way. Love that neighborhood. So is this going to be? I'm trying to figure out if this new addition is going to be the same plane as the front of the house, or is it going to be set back a little? It's hard to tell.
Let me just go to the elevation.
I'm looking at the elevations, I'm still trying to figure it out. Looks like it's gonna be protuberance, is it gonna be in front of the plane of the house? The new addition, that little addition that's on the second floor,
Yeah.
that's to the right.
It's on the same plane as the house with an apron that wraps around the front of the house to break up the section, but it's in the same plane as the existing facade.
The front.
Correct.
So it'll be more square, okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I think the best view is if you look at the right side elevation, here's the front of the house.
Thank
So
you.
you can see it's set back with the apron, so it's not fully in line because you have the apron of the roof that's covering it. So it doesn't look like a flat wall. We still let the architectural feature of the apron that breaks the two. You don't have a full straight wall going up the house.
Thank you.
I think that's what you're getting to. So,
Thank you for-
so this
yes.
elevation, you can see the apron. So you don't see a straight flat wall, which I understand what you're going for. We have the apron here, so you're going to see the breakup of the first and second floor plates.
Thank you. That does it.
Tell me a little bit about the vegetation on that one side of the house.
We have an existing tree line located to the right. It's north of the addition, but again, like reviewing the survey, on that side of the house, there's no, like, the other house is not even remotely close to it. It goes to a triangle around the curve, and you don't have a house for 20 to 30 feet to 40, maybe even further. It's where you curve Mountain View. It comes to a very triangular point, and there's really nothing there. It's just open space. And in terms of access to light and air, east is facing that side, so the sun's going to come up on the east and go the other way. You're not going to block any sunlight at that point, other than westerly sunlight.
Anyone else have any questions? Anyone in the audience have any questions regarding this application? Anyone in the audience have any comments regarding this application? Then I will close the meeting to the public. Board members, what are your thoughts?
I think that this is a very well planned out addition. I like that I'm not seeing any variances for floor area ratio. I don't think that, I think that that's really important when you're considering, the overall massing of the house. They're able to do this addition without adding too much square footage. And I, firmly believe that, people should be able to make their houses more livable for, modern day standards. I think this is a very well planned out, proposal for us, so I would support it.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things they looked at right away was, you have an oversized lot for the zone, about 1,100 square feet, but that wasn't maxed out. It wasn't, you could take the liberty of just going nuts with it, and I think that's admirable. Probably if this lot wasn't the way it's situated, I may not be a fan of the massing of it, but it's hard to argue it when it really isn't. It's really not detrimental to, the neighbors. So I too, for the reasons that Jessica noted, would also support this application.
I would just add that this lot width is a little bit narrower than the standard in the area, so I would be supportive as well. given
Yeah, I see more as a
the-
C2 than a C1 personally. I think that the lot can maintain the mass and there's no detriment to the zoning plan. You could argue the hardship is the width, but not really, because you compensate for that in other ways and you're going back. So, yeah, I would agree, but I see it as a C2. Anyone else? In that case, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Ashley Abbott,
Yes.
Chandra Barjani,
Yes.
Amy Martin,
Yes.
Gary Rosen,
Yes.
Regina Stewart,
Yes.
Jessica Black,
Yes.
Lee Clifford.
Yes. Good luck with the project.
Thank you guys for,
Thank you very much.
have a great evening, guys.
Next up, calendar 394523, Sedgwick Park Circle. Alon Mizrahi and Ryan Looney.
So we're gonna testify.
Is everyone good to talk tonight? Just for y'all. Okay.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear affirm testimony about to give in tonight's proceeding be the truth, whole truth, and but the truth? Your name, for the record, spelling your name.
Lana. Last name is Mizrahi, Mizrahi.
Ryan Lunny, Ryanlunni. Daniel Duvenet, Dubinett.
All right, who'd like to speak first?
So I'll introduce our family. Again, my name is Alana Mizrahi. This is my husband, Ryan Lunny. And we have 3 daughters, Sienna, who's 6, Brooke, who's 2.5, and Rebecca, who's 5 months. And we moved into our house at Park Circle in the fall of 2020. And we're really, really so excited to be a part of this town. And about a year later, a little less than a year later, our basement flooded with Hurricane Ida. And you'll see from the planning, but due to the shape of our driveway, it was unfortunately structured in a way that it was pretty inevitable. So that night is implanted in our minds. I think, it was right around bedtime for our girls. We were circling between our attic from a roof leak and our basement, checking the sump pumps. And around 9 o'clock that night, I noticed water pooling in the basement, and it was collecting around the stairs by our garage. And we acted really quickly to grab garbage bins, hopefully thinking that we could transport the water outside. Unfortunately, water moves quickly, and if there was nothing that we can do about it. What we realized after opening the garage door is that our garage was what was flooding. So our kids' toys, bicycles, strollers, everything was floating. What's the word for it? Anyway, in any event, it was a catch basin, and there was nothing that we could do to stop it. So we moved to damage control, getting everything that we could out of our basement, toys, gym equipment. And I think the one thing that we're super grateful for that night is that our power didn't go out, because inevitably the pumps were what we needed to get the water out. The next morning was all about just remediation. So getting the floors torn out, carpet, linoleum floors, and bringing in water remediation experts. So they pulled down some of the sheetrock just to make sure that we were taking care and limiting the risk of any mold buildup. What I would say is, this is something that has just lived with us ever since. So whenever we get heavy rainstorms, we are panicked. The storm that we had a few weeks ago at the end of September, I was home on a Friday. I normally work from home on Fridays. And I said, Ryan, I can't be here alone because, it was just luck that prevented us from getting that kind of rain and experiencing the same thing again. And frankly, the notion of 1 in a 100-year storm in our minds just isn't true anymore. So this is a risk that we continue to live with. And that being said, we really love our home. We love the community that we have in our block. We love the friends that we've developed in the last few years. And we want to make this home our long-term home and the home that we raise our daughters in. And so the project that we're envisioning is one that will allow us to retain the home and really, prevent us from having to worry about rain and other natural elements that could, impact our ability to live there peacefully.
I'll just briefly say a few words here about the project. So, we're standing here in November 2023, and we've been thinking about trying to remediate and solve this problem for over 2 years now. We've looked at a lot of different solutions. What's interesting is when we meet with engineers or contractors, they come and they say, why do you want to tear down your garage and build it up again? Then once they're on site and they see everything, they're like, oh yeah, I get it. It makes sense. You just have to solve this downward sloping driveway that, floods into your garage, floods into your basement. So I think Danny will do the best job describing all the particular features. I think the only other thing I would highlight for the committee is our lot is an undersized lot for the zone.
Great, thank you. If I may, I'd like to hand out an exhibit that's similar.
Do the qualifications real quick.
Oh, yes, sure. Licensed architect. I received my degree, or my license, I should say, in 2001. So over 20 years, I can't believe it, practicing residential architecture in the neighborhood. I've appeared before this board numerous times. My license is still current and in effect.
Super.
So if I may, I'd like to hand out an exhibit. It's similar to what you have in your packages, plus some additional photographs to help everybody understand what this project is, because this is a unique one. So if I may. Thank you. And they're smaller, so it's easier to flip through.
The other thing I just want you to cover when you go through this is what was approved versus what you're asking for, because there are some deviations there.
There's a lot. I think we have 9 variances.
Right.
And out of the 9, only 3 of them are going to get exacerbated.
Right.
Or I should say, well, the generators.
Whole thing is pretty even.
Yeah, A1, it's a series of 7 pages. So the best way to explain the project is kind of walk you through this package. Step 1, just an overview of the site. So we're in the R4 zone. And we're on the Park Circle. And the only 2 houses that I think you would consider in proximity to would be the 2 houses on Park Road. And I'll go into, I've studied quite a bit. They're very far away. So I don't think as a result of what we're asking for, there'll be no negative impact to those homes. And I'll show you that in a bit. Second page, very important. This might be the only way I can explain this project. The image on the top right shows the home, 7 Park Circle. And what you see is that addition on the left was done about 2004. In 2003, they were granted variances to achieve this. So side yard setback, side to height, combined yard setback, front facing garage. There was nothing in there that I saw about the impervious coverage in front yards. So that may be new since 2003. In addition, the FAR that we're asking for today was not asked for back then because probably it didn't exist. But, so all the variances were a lot, and we'll run through that, all have to do with, and this is why this project is so interesting, the garage is 2 feet below the level of the street, so there's a slight decline. And from Park Circle, all the water runs down Park Circle, finds its way down their driveway. There are trench drains and linear drains in front of the, as you make your way down the driveway, and there's a tremendous amount of storm water management that was put in place, but nothing that can handle a big rainfall. So we can handle the small stuff, but nothing big. And we spoke to engineers, we spoke to the civil engineers, and no guarantee that whatever we do was going to stop the water. So it's actually the homeowner's idea that we elevate this addition. So basically, unfortunately, we have to knock it down and rebuild it. And the plan is to build it so it's 2 feet above the street level, which is roughly about 4 feet taller than what you see now in reality. So it's a garage, and on the top of the garage could be office. So the program is exactly the same. And that's the project, and that's the ask. And then, of course, and on the bottom left is the proposal. So basically, we're going to elevate this whole addition by 4 feet. And in doing so, there's a very large retaining wall that you can see in the top right picture. It's about 6.5 feet. That's a little scary for them. So as a result of this, a benefit is that we're going to raise the grade in the driveway, so it'll be more like a 3-foot drop rather than the 6-7 foot. That's not the main reason. The main reason we're going to do this expensive job is really it's the only way to guarantee that water doesn't roll down the driveway and then it goes into the basement. So that's the genesis of the project. As a result of us knocking it down to rebuild it, I take it to the next page. I think I could do it better. So right now they have a 2-car garage, which you really can only put 1 car in there. You can see the top left image. The nose of the car is, I think they put a plastic can there so that they won't run into the wall. It's it's 18 feet deep. And then there's this bizarre staircase that cuts into it. So since we're knocking it down, we're going to go through the trouble. If I bring the garage 4 feet forward, I'll avoid that staircase, and then I'll have an 18.5 foot deep garage. So not a terribly deep, but better than 18 feet, and then we can get 2 cars. So one of the asks is, of course, replace exactly what we have. However, build it 4 feet towards the front of the house, which won't stick out past the front of the house. And the second component that we'd be asking for that's slightly different from what's existing is behind the addition. We'd like the small mudroom 1-story, and I'll show you that. So those are the existing conditions. And I thought the best way to maybe explain this project again is the next page you look at is the existing home. And I think a good diagram to look at is the top right one, 3EX1. That's the front elevation. I'm showing you in yellow what's proposed versus what's existing. So we're going to elevate, like I said, 4 feet. And so from the front of the house, of course, you don't see the 4-foot projection. And on the left elevation, you could see how I'm going to raise the garage and bring it 4 feet, but I'm not going to go past the face of the home. And that's 1 story that sticks out. And that'll make it so it's a functional 2-car garage. And of course, the benefits of having a good 2-car garage is we get some off driveway parking. And then I just try to highlight on the bottom right the 4-foot extension to the garage to make it work. And again, I'm going to go for the minimum of, when all said and done, the clearance of the garage will be 18.5 feet. The yellow box on the back of the garage is a very small 6x9 mudroom that they currently don't have a little place, so I thought that was a very inconspicuous place to put it. And then replace the office again. So if I may, I'll run through the variances, and that'll probably, we can kind of check off what was existing non-conforming and what's slightly different. Okay, so the first variance is front yard coverage. Permitted is 30%, proposed is 47.4, but existing is 47.4. So there's no increase to the amount of impervious coverage in the front yard because the driveway exists, so whatever garage extension I do doesn't exacerbate that. Second variance is kind of easy. It's a front, there's in the R4, there's not allowed front-facing garages. However, of course, existing is front-facing, so I think that ask is reasonable. That variance is reasonable. The third one, generator setback. So something to make sure that our pumps don't fail. The backup, they like to have a generator, and that requires a 1 foot variance. The required is 12, proposed is 11, and I'll show you where that's going to be located. Then the next two are existing. So if you were to visit the home, the side yard setback is 5.3 feet, and it's going to be existing at 5.3 feet. Second floor setback is at 9.5 existing, and it's going to stay 9.5. So no change to the side yard setbacks. Same thing with combined side yard setback. No change to that. So proposed is 17.1%, and existing is 17.1%. So the bulk of those variances, other than the generator, are all what was pre-approved. I think it was in 2003, the resolution. They were approved for the building coverage. The existing is at 17.85. So the net result of us asking for a slightly larger garage and the mudroom, basically 135 square feet that we'd be adding to what you see already. And the variance is proposed is 18.8%. Maybe a good time to point out that this is a R4 zone, which is the minimum lot size for R4 is 20,000 square feet, and this house property size is 13,440. So we're significantly undersized. We're actually less than the required for R5. But I think we're all kind of familiar with Park Circle and the issues that happened with there. I think it was zoned kind of funny at Park Circle. The second one that we've had is existing, but we're going to increase a little bit, and that's for the mudroom. I'm going to increase it 58 square feet for that 6 by 9 mudroom in the back. So we're going to add 58 square feet to what is there currently. So the numbers on that is 35% is what's required, 38.5% is what's proposed. Existing is 38. So again, it's an uptick of 58 square feet located behind the garage, one story. And I could refer back to the pictures, but there's a picture of the rear yard and you can see where it's situated, and there's heavily screened wooded trees that will block this addition from the neighbors. And now the FAR, that's a weird one because like I said, we're just increasing the front of the garage by 130 square feet, adding a little mudroom in the back, which is the back is 54 square feet. So we're not adding that much square footage to the house, but because, here's where it gets weird, because previously or currently the garage is below grade, doesn't count as FAR. As soon as I lift it up to grade, it counts as FAR. So that's why you see a pretty big increase to FAR. Like we're not, well, that's the reason, because we're didn't count before, it was 2 feet below grade, now we're gonna raise it up 2 feet, and all of a sudden that number counts. So I think that we'll look at the pictures again. I think that the property can handle the massing, especially because the neighbors who are adjacent are very, very far away. And so that'll take me to the next page, which is their survey. And I had a chance to look at the neighbors who might be negatively affected by this. And there's only one house that's on Park that's kind of in our backyard, but it's 62 feet away from us. And again, there's heavily landscaped with mature evergreen trees. And then there's a detached garage. So the detached garage is about 23 feet away from us. And the house, which had already a big addition on it, is 62 feet away. So I don't think that, of course, if this was situated in a different kind of lot with a neighbor right next door, I think I would maybe worry about the massing, but here I'm not worried about it at all. I don't think anybody's going to receive any negative impact by this. And as a result, and I'll show you some more images, I think it's actually going to look prettier, the addition that was put on in 2004. Which takes us to the next page, which is not as fun, but these are the architectural drawings of what we're proposing. And I guess the one takeaway from this is that the mudroom in the back is quite small. It's a closet and a couple cubbies. And the garage, hard to read the numbers, but 18 and a half feet deep garage. And the second floor had an office. We're going to keep an office. And lastly, the last page is the elevations. And so the reverse of showing you the existing, now we're looking at the proposed versus what was there. That's the application. It's certainly on paper, it's scary, but then the reality of what actually we're asking for is makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, it's going to cost a lot of money for them, but it's the only way to guarantee that there's no more water in the basement. And that's the short story. So.
One of the things that concerns me about this street, and we see the street in front of us all the time. Anytime this house sells in the street, it's in front of us. Problem is, everybody's taking a bite of the apple.
Right.
Every time someone buys a house in this area, they're taking another bite of the apple. And, you know, this FAR issue is significant because you can't really compare it to an R6. You got a lot that be 2 times the size of an R6 lot. So even if you take it to an R5 lot, you're now still substantially over FAR
Yeah, I
on
looked
an
at that.
R5 lot.
It's a 12% deviation.
Right, so you could argue that it's not an R6, you know, you can argue that it's not an R4, but when you start getting into this stuff now, I mean, this thing is so overbuilt. And I realize that, you know, it's like I said, it's a snowball effect. Previous owners asking for 17, they were approved for 17.24%, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know, even the setbacks they're approved for like 4 point something setback, but
4.5 feet, 7.4. Building coverage is 17.24. But obviously we don't have those in front of us, and I have no idea what they were, you know, what it actually looked like right now.
yeah,
I mean, is there any way to
yes.
tighten this thing up?
Well, we don't want to lower the garage, so as soon as I bring it up to grade, we, over 300.
My guess is this garage is under the house at one point.
It like this,
It used to come in underneath, right?
you know, I don't know, because I inherited, I don't know if you know exactly what the garage looked
I
like
mean, judging by
before.
that grade, it almost looks like the garage would have been.
Under,
I don't know.
completely under. Now it's at this weird midpoint where it's like halfway, but again, it didn't count at all before. Now, of course, based on the zoning count.
I mean, the scale of this thing's off right now, like the way the house is built.
It looks funny.
Yeah.
And I think by us raising it, it's going to normalize it, like it won't look like it's cockeyed. I don't think it looks like a terribly large house from the front at all. But that's for sure. And I think, thank God, there's no neighbor adjacent to us that we'd be negatively impacted. Otherwise, it'd be a hard ask. But I think because of where it is and what it is,
Like, everything's so maxed out, though. Like, everything's maxed out.
it's certainly the one thing we thought about was, okay, well, what if we just literally take the same thing and elevate it? And not increase the garage bit and not add that little mudroom. And of course, going through this big commitment.
You're adding 500 feet somewhere,
Well, it's the garage. The garage wasn't counted
just by
now.
adding 500, and then how much is that mudroom adding?
54 square feet in the back.
54 in that, and then you're about 450 in the garage. Is what it would be?
Yeah, it was 350 change, and then we're adding 100 to it to make it work, to get it away from that
Because you
staircase.
were, I mean, it shows, because you said something about it being 18 feet deep, but is that deep in there?
It is 18 feet deep with a staircase in it.
Right,
Currently.
so it's 15 feet of actual parking, right?
Right.
And then are you increasing that or no?
I would like to.
Like 4 foot.
I'd like to bring it out 4 feet 4 inches.
So you go to about 19.4 of parking.
Yeah, inside comes out to 18.6.
You're not moving that staircase, right?
So it's like, yeah,
On your testimony, Danny, or you?
no, I mean, I think that they canvassed the neighbors, and so they were all kind of in support. Unfortunately, Mary McNett lives next door. She couldn't be here tonight, otherwise she'd come in support.
Well, that certainly would help.
I know,
Um,
she was my smoking gun, but she's not doing well.
No, I know. Any other thoughts from the board here for Danny? Questions?
Oh, comment, that's for
Others?
comment.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I'll get to that.
Just a question.
Yes.
You are the expert, but instead of going 2 feet up, if it were at the same level, so you avoid the FAR in the FAR calculation, how would that help from a structural perspective?
Well, if I don't elevate it, so right now, let's say street level's 197,
What are you going to on this?
199, like,
What I'm trying to get at is that if you
If you can keep
use
it,
the 500, and then keep it at the same level, if not worsen it, because it's already worse at the current level, so.
yeah. I think unfortunately, anything we do from the street, because now we're 2 feet down, even if I elevated a foot, it's not gonna matter, the water still.
But it comes at the level.
If I go to the level, it still counts as FAR.
I don't think, I'm not sure that we counted garages in 2003.
Right.
I know that, I don't know when, I know detached garages were not included at the time, but I don't know when.
Also trying to figure out how this house was originally designed, because
Yeah.
if the garage was at the grade but underneath the house, it wouldn't count.
Right.
Because it's, even though this is still technically basement grade. Because you're really not coming above you're not really raising it, I mean, how much more above the actual foundation are you?
Well, that's a good point, because we're still a half a flight below the first floor, but we're above grade in the front of the house.
So when you come out of this garage, the new garage, do you actually step down into the basement?
Yes. And or up to the first floor, because the first floor, if you look at the photographs, is up a significant amount of steps.
Right.
So we're gonna be at grade, but front door is up,
But that existing staircase in there would technically go away.
it wouldn't, because we're still gotta go up a half a flight.
Right. But you can get rid of half the staircase? Or no?
Yes,
The
I,
garage, can you get rid of that?
now I have to go down to the basement.
Right.
Yeah.
Because right now you still have 2 steps down to the basement, it looks like.
Yes. Yeah, whoever did the addition, lowered that basement from the existing basement 2 steps, which makes the water
Yeah, which makes it worse.
come even more. Like I said, the mudroom in the back, of course, they would love to have, but yes, you could eliminate that to reduce FAR by 54. But it's that weird rule of once the garage is grade level, then we,
But that mudroom, I don't understand how you access that, because it looks like you have to go upstairs to access the mudroom.
let's look at the proposed. Yeah, so the proposed plans, from the garage, you get into mudroom, then you gotta go up a half to get to the first floor, or down a half to get to the basement.
So how do you get to the mudroom?
Yeah, like, I don't understand.
There's a door on the left of the garage,
You go up, you go up.
and once you're at grade, so you could actually walk out the back door of the mudroom. You go up a half a flight to get to the first floor.
That's what that is.
Is the garage, the proposed, the same grade as the mudroom?
Yes,
So theoretically, you could go out the back.
yes, you can go out the back.
Right.
Question for you, Mr. Taylor. So I see the complaint that you have the water, that's significant, but what, if you put a French drain around places, would that all over?
Well,
It's
they
like the
have-
Situation in my house, when we didn't get it.
Ryan would know, because we talked to engineer, but they don't want to spend this. This is, we would love to do something else, but no one would guarantee that it's gonna work.
Even the French drain all the way around the house, all the way around.
We
the
have
all the way around the-
monster trench drains, like as you make your way down the driveway, there's drains and drains
Yeah.
and drains, but I guess when the volume of water gets so big, you cannot stop it. That's the thing. I would
Because
Okay.
it would save you, because I was gonna say, because that would save you, and the other thing I knew was that
Well, then
retaining wall and that
then we're
drop.
like,
I do understand the drop from that retaining wall is scary with 3 little children.
yeah,
That's-
and that I
yeah,
said to
it's-
them was kind of secondary. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't do all this for that, but
This problem had to exist prior to their ownership.
yeah, they're the second ones after them, after whoever built it, right?
The
Second one.
problem was unbeknownst to us. And
If you're gonna talk, you gotta come up, like, come up, yeah, so we can, the mic's used for.
yeah, it wasn't until living in the home that we became aware that prior owners had experienced multiple floods.
Oh.
So, buyer beware, but
It's shocking that the real estate agent didn't put that on the.
Shocking.
Guys, come on up, if you're speaking, you gotta speak to the mic.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, it's a lot to take in, but part of what we're doing is the prior renovation done 15 or 17 years ago, like they made some structural mistakes in how they did it. And we're trying to fix that now, and we're willing to make the investment to fix it, and not just for us, for anyone who ever buys this house for the next 100 years, is that there's really some structural problems that we think this will address.
Yeah, I wish I tried. When I met him, I'm like, you crazy, knock it down and rebuild it. But then I'm like, yeah, I don't have a good
Yeah.
solution. Yeah,
So, now the driveway's gonna come up how much now to the house?
we're gonna be 2 feet above the grade of the streets, so the numbers are
So.
4 feet from the garage slab up. Whatever is existing now, we're gonna
Right.
elevate it 4 feet would be enough.
So it's like 2 to grade, 2 above grade.
Yes.
the goal is that gravity will send the water to the street so that it goes to the drains.
And the pitch you typically need to have water or centrifuge and water flow downhill is 2.5%. So there's logic to the 4 feet rise. It's a very long driveway. It's like a 90.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, like, you don't want it to be too extreme of a rise over that short a run, but it's really not that short a run, so it's not gonna be that noticeable.
Yeah.
When the kid drops the ball and it goes to the street at like, 50 miles an hour. So. Any other questions from the board?
Just one for me, the generator, where were you intending to put that?
Thank you. If we look at the survey, which is somewhere in the middle of the package.
Just the back corner, right from the back. Yes.
So the
Yeah.
issue with the generator.
We got side yard setback, you're 11
It's
feet.
It's gotta be
12.
12, he's only 11.
Yeah. And again, there's nobody back there, like,
Why can't you make it conform? What's over there?
there's a terrace there, like it's a raised
Oh, yeah, I see.
terrace.
So this is Danny, just quickly, so the front of the garage, the face of the garage is going, is it or isn't it going to jut out beyond the face of the house, but not far enough to go what, beyond the portico or?
It's gonna go to, let me get to the picture, it's gonna go, there's an existing second floor cantilever overhang, so it's gonna line up with that. Was my goal.
Anything else? Questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Are you ready, Skis? Okay. Your question?
Yes.
Come on up.
Yeah. So I live in 15 Park Circle
Wait a
and
second, do you name and stuff?
Not for questions,
Okay, go ahead.
but it's your name and address.
name Fu Chong Liu, FUCHONGLIU,
And your address?
15 Park Circle. And I also represent my friend who lives in 17
You
Park.
want to represent yourself.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
Tell
fine.
us where you live in relation to the house.
Hmm?
Tell us where you live, property in question.
Property owner.
Where?
No.
Well, 15 Park Circle.
Right, but where's that in relation to the property in question? Do you live on the right, the left?
Not, so it's also on the Park Circle, but not adjacent to the property.
How many houses would you say you're away from it?
2, 3.
Yeah, like, we're just trying to get,
Yeah, 2 or 3. I don't.
So-
On this.
oh, Yeah,
point
show
out.
the map.
This is yeah. I think I'm here. So three.
On the same side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You next to Faust?
Hmm?
Okay, got it. Okay, go ahead.
So my one question is, I think the lot is not very wide. So would it make more sense to add kind of a rear addition instead of
Well, you're asking a question to the homeowner and the architect, so, do you want to answer that?
Yes, the lot width is 72 feet. And I guess the question is, could it be located behind the house? It would, but we probably increase, well, we would not be able to get an attached garage, but we'd increase the lot coverage significantly more and probably building coverage a lot more. But it,
First of all, does your lot width conform, yes or no?
no,
Okay,
100 feet is the required and we're 72.
correct.
You said you live at 15 Park Circle?
Yep.
It's a different, do you own it?
Yeah, it'd be very hard.
And the owner of 17 Park Road is not also has the same kind of concern.
That's fine, but he's not here to testify, so.
Yeah, understood. Just FYI.
But how does that solve the flooding problem? Building anything in the back?
No, you're not questioning that. This guy, so.
Sorry,
Yeah, so I'm not a professional.
sorry.
Just raising this question.
No, rhetorical question, sorry.
Any other questions from the audience? Any comments from the audience, if you have a comment regarding this application? Do you have a comment?
So we.
Come on up, we gotta swear you in, and
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give in tonight's proceeding be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Your name, spelling your name, and your address.
Mansi, Mansi, last name Kapadia, and my address is 15 Park Road.
15?
Park Road.
So where do you live in relation to the property in question?
So our backyards meet at a corner, if that helps.
Okay, so you'd be the third house down from Park Circle on the right side?
We're the first house.
I
Oh,
mean, like, I know the old owners was Lewentman in the house on the right.
yes. So we're the house before that.
Got it, okay.
Where the Abrams used to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've become friends since we moved. Our daughters are about the same age. We really like our neighbors. We like our neighborhood. We'd love them to stay. I have very mature trees, so I don't think any raising of their house by about 4 feet or so would affect us at all. And it honestly, like, what are they supposed to do? Just wait for another flood to happen? Like, you have to mitigate that. So I really support what they want to do. That's where I am.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else have any comment regarding this application? Let's go forward. All right, then I'll close the public portion of the hearing. So board members, what are your thoughts?
Look, I think I'm supportive of the application. I think, I think they have a challenging situation with the flooding. I think the massing of the house is, I don't think it's material. I think I would prefer that it didn't increase the mass, but I think, given the circumstances, I think if unless, I'm not hearing, it's not our job to solve this problem, but I'm not hearing any other solutions other than increasing the height of the garage. So I just think if it's not a problem for them and they move, it'll be a problem for somebody else. And so I would be supportive of the application.
Any comment?
I would just add that the FAR is a scary number when you look at it, but it makes sense when wasn't counted when it was below grade. So I don't think that it's really so material because it's not adding so much more, it's just a matter of that you're elevating it. So I really think this is one of the kind of rare cases where I think we could look beyond that because of the hardship of the property, what the applicants are dealing with.
So, it's an extreme way to get to a solution, here to this water issue. The benefit of it, I think, is the house is gonna look a lot better. I have a lot of friends that live around that street. I pass that house all the time, and I just could never figure out how that thing was designed, because that garage is so much lower than the actual structure of the home. So I think from aesthetic purpose, it's actually a good thing. I don't love the numbers. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. My concern with this is, this house ever came in front of us again, it's sort of like everything is now maxed out. But, obviously the previous owners came in to do something and decided to waive off. So, this is that bite of the apple. So I would be supportive of it. I think it solves the solution to the problem, and also maybe at the end of the day, it'll wind up with a more aesthetically pleasing development on the site. Any other thoughts?
I was gonna say, I agree with everything that everyone has said so far. Some of these variances are so minor, I mean, have to be listed, but the generator one, that's kind of, not that significant for sure. The front-facing driveway sounds like it was approved in 2003. So the ones that are scary to me, of course, are the floor area ratio, but I explained it was exactly how it should be. It's just a weird law, and it changed so much and added the numbers so much when you're elevating, and I certainly don't want that flooding to happen again. So I'd be supportive.
Okay. In that case, do you have a motion?
Make a motion to approve
Second.
application.
Second, Gary, second.
Ashley Abitur,
Yes.
Chandra Rajani,
Yes.
Amy Lawrence,
Yes.
Karen Rosen.
Yes.
Virginia Truitt,
Yes.
Jessica Black,
Yes.
Ted White.
Yes, good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Next up, we have 395423, 66 Spencer Drive, Jason and Kara Stern.
Yes, just raise your right hand. Please, do you swear from testimony about to give in tonight's proceeding be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yep. Your names for the record, please.
My name is Kara Stern, C-A-R-A, Stern, S-T-E-R-N.
I'm Jason Stern.
Daniel Dubinet, D-U-B-I-N-E-T-T.
Who would like to speak first?
I'm still let Danny do the talking, and then if you have
Okay,
any
that's fine.
questions,
So give us your
Yes.
qualifications, Dan.
Thank you so much. I appeared before this board 2 minutes ago. License is still good, in effect.
Okay, let's get going.
Okay. Well, this case is a lot easier. That was a hard one. This one is basically the short story is we want to add an addition to the side of the home to be able to create an additional garage to the residence. We will conform to the side yard setback. It's in the R5 zone. So the 12 foot is the required side yard setback, 13.81 is what we're proposing, but because of the lot width, we need a variance for what they call combined side yard setback. And same thing, I'd like to hand something out a little easier to see. Market Exhibit A1, which is 6 pages. And again, I think it's easier to work with.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're in the R4, R5 zone, 66 Spencer. And again, this is just an overview of the neighborhood. Let's jump to the second page. So the short story is, if we look at the survey, we make, I apologize if it's so small, but basically we're 13.19 feet to our proposed addition, and it's to add a garage, so it's a one-story addition to the side of the house. And the variance seeking is for combined side yard setback, which is a function of the lot width. Our lot width is 89.5, and the minimum for the area is 75, so we're a little bit wide. And so that makes the combined side yard a little bit harder. Then we see, well, I did a quick analysis of the neighbor's house, which is 23 feet away from our proposed addition. So I think we'll maintain open light and airspace. No trees next to the neighbors will come down. And I have some photographs of the neighbors and the situation. So again, I don't think there's a negative impact to the neighbors, but the benefit is 2-car garage, 2 cars off the street. Everybody knows the car thefts and things. So a benefit for the homeowners. And as a result of this application, we're going to be updating and modernizing the exterior quite a bit.
Is this new garage tandem?
No, it's just got some storage.
It's single, so it's single. It's single depth.
The single depth, we don't have a basement and or attic, so we're going to use the extra depth for storage.
Got it, okay.
Yeah. Right. And so part of this application, which is not part of variances, but we're going to update the interiors and update the exteriors. So again, I think there's the positive is that we get to update and modernize the house, and certainly give them a 2-car garage, which is lovely, and I think it fits well on the site. So if we look at the front elevation on B3, again, it's a 1-story addition, so it kind of breaks down the massing, and I think it fits nice to the side of the house. We're not looking for blow out the roofs and do something crazy. So that's the variance. That's the project, is that 1-car attached garage. If we look at the photographs, I think that's nice because I took the photographs 2 days ago, so they accurately depict what's there. So we see 66 Spencer. If I look at the top left picture, we see 66 Spencer with a 1-car garage, but a car right where I want to put the second one. But there's significant amount of open space between the two.
So looking at that car parked there right now.
Yes.
How much wider is the garage than that? Because obviously this driveway kicks out there.
Yeah, it's exactly 3 feet wider.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we'll have to widen the driveway a little bit. All sorts of flooding issues in this house, but completely different genesis for the project.
So this garage is stepped back how much from the other face garage face?
Thank you. That's important.
The new garage is stepped back.
Yeah, so I have the 3D.
Is it A1 or what it says? The last page.
Yes. It's 2.5 feet back from the face of the house.
And
Everything else conforms that you're doing, right?
Everything else conforms, FAR, lot coverage, height, and yeah, that's the only variance we're seeking. Thank you.
Do you have any questions regarding this application?
Question, you said it does flood, this house?
Yeah, this house does flood, but it's such a, not a, there's a grade in the back that's pitched right to the house. And so when it rains, it floods their garage from the back of the garage, which I can fix. Wouldn't need to knock it down for that. That needs perimeter drainage and swales and stuff like that. But it's interesting, we're gonna do their kitchen first. And then we switched gears, said, okay, I gotta deal with the drainage, the water. So I said, why don't you add another garage? Jason wanted to kill me. But I said, well, since we're doing, that would be wonderful. So it floods just because of poor management.
Okay, but you're gonna address that
Yes.
flooding so that you won't have to come back and elevate that.
No,
garage.
definitely not. Definitely not. I think it's just a matter of
And how
proper.
close are you to the property line? On the
We'll be
flood?
13 feet away from the property line.
And how far from the house, the most? closest?
23 feet.
23.
Yeah.
You said that already, okay.
Yeah, significantly far away. And I tried to analyze like what windows could we be blocking, but there were so much mature trees in front of their home. I don't think they could see out their windows at the moment.
That one window you're putting up on that, I guess it'll be like the second-ish floor of this garage, what is that?
We are gonna just do storage.
Just a storage room?
Yeah.
So the architecturals that you're showing here with all the pretty.
That's us.
things.
That's what we're working on.
Okay,
Yes.
looks really good.
No, it's gonna, that's,
It is.
obviously we moved quickly.
And I'm looking, I'm like, that doesn't look.
Yeah, it's like, anything like the other page.
No, it's, when we get ready for
I was
the,
asking you if you were coming back again.
no, but when you get ready for the variance, you move kind of quick and then you have time to like, design and think, and it's only gonna get better.
No, the sloped roof over the garage, it looks very, it just gives it a different appearance. That looks fun.
Right. And we're gonna take the split level and just curb appeal, just as it peaks and things. The siding.
So on this 3D view where you have the garage set back, there are steps on the left side, is that also planned?
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a walkway around to the backyard, so we're gonna have, there's a little bit of grade change, so we'll have up.
So you are gonna step it back as opposed to, because like V3 doesn't look like it's stepped.
V3 does not look like it's.
And then you get to this last page and it's stepped. You
Yes.
also have that like, nice looking, the way you did the cover of the garage, it's not one piece.
Yeah, the 3D is definitely the most current.
Guys, go with this one, it's a lot nicer, is my opinion.
Yes. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's great.
We could say so. Or please, on the other garage. On the other garage.
It's 4 feet back.
Right, it looks more than 2 feet here in the picture.
Yeah, it's 4 feet back.
Yeah.
And that was a function of trying to get the roof line on the left side of the house to fit very nicely with the house, so we pushed it back.
Any other questions?
A couple of questions. How deep would this be? Because you have some trees at the back.
Yes.
Is that going to be taken down?
There's 3 trees that have to be removed.
Unless you get the approval, so.
Yes.
Do you need?
Yes, one's 19 inches diameter, so for sure, we'll gotta get the forester's approval and replant.
That whole house is built in crawl space?
The whole right side, so you have the garage and whatever little mudroom, and the right side's all crawl.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, any other questions? Any questions from the audience regarding this application? Any comments from the audience regarding this application? Then in that case, I will close the public portion of this hearing. Board members, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a thoughtful, lovely renovation, and it doesn't seem to impact the neighborhood. I think you're going to improve the appearance of the neighborhood by after additions. I can certainly understand the need for a second car garage, and I think the modifications, the benefits outweigh the detriments. I would be in favor.
So in general, I have no issue with it. I mean, I think, I would like to see this plan come to fruition as opposed to the other one.
Yes.
If possible, because I think from an aesthetic point of view, to add that second garage, giving it more dimension,
Yes.
I think really makes it look nice. And, you know, I like the way that the roofs are done over the covers are done over the doors. I just think it really has a much more complete look than V3. So I would like to add that. I realize that, you know, it's not something that can be. that
Right,
can be
I can put that on the
conditioned, but I'm
record,
just
yeah.
saying that
Put on the
my
record.
2 cents, I think it's, yeah, exactly, right. So I think it would be a nice
Thank you.
effect having a step back. I like that look better, so.
Add the pretty things. Did you say 3 pretties?
Thank you.
Any other comments? Then do a motion.
Motion to approve.
A second?
I'll second.
Ashley Evans,
Yes.
Chandra Harjani.
Yes.
Amy Martin.
Yes.
Gary Rosen.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yes.
Jessica Glad.
Yes.
Chris Lee.
Yes, good luck on the project.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Anything from the audience that was discussed tonight on the agenda? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn? A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Have a good evening.
You as well. Phone is blowing up.
There you go.
That was a great time. This was good fun.
Impressive.